Rebuild or the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't pull the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
Oh, damn it, Mitch. You messed up my tweet. I was going to tweet out anyone that gets in the comments before Mitch gets here gets entered to win a free hoodie.
All right, well, here you go.
My internet's slow. It's not that.
Damn it. All right. I think I see all the tweeters and all that shit's done. You guys ready to go?
Yes.
Hold on. Wait for it. All right. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, March 9th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawoski, a.k.a. Father Zoe, a.k.a. Southside Zoe. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
World Baseball Classic recap.
All right.
Who didn't love the horn guy? Come on.
I didn't think it was that bad.
It was the horn guy.
Way over my head. That guy was brutal, dude. It was brutal.
I read a story about him. Like, just follows the Cuban team all around. Just seems like a great guy. He just loves his country, though.
That's fine. I'm all about it. But I was laying in bed trying to watch it, so like I was in like a dark room, like it was real quiet, and all you could hear was that fucking horn. Like you couldn't hear the announcers, you couldn't hear anything else. All you could hear was that horn. I muted it. I watched 4 innings.
It was definitely tough because I'm sure a lot of the people watching, especially White Sox fans, are in the United States watching Robert and Moncada, and it's just the middle of the night, and you just hear the horn over and over again.
Well, hold on. Let's finish the intros, and then I have thoughts on Horn Guy. The good Reverend K. Fids.
I'm gonna reserve my opinion on the Horn Guy only because, well, I mean, he is a very gifted musician, so I really don't want to hammer on his art. But I'm telling you right now,
Lungs of steel. Lungs of steel.
Oh, and I fell asleep last night, and I could actually hear it while I was dreaming, and I wasn't sure, like, it haunted my dreams, like Mr. Deeds' feet.
And there's no sophomore slump here with NASCAR Mitch.
That's right. I'll be honest. I saw everyone complaining about the horn on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh yeah, World Baseball Classic starts tonight." So I turned it on, and I didn't think it was that bad. I think it was maybe because I was prepared because everyone was talking about how bad it was on Twitter. But like watching, I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it provides a sense of atmosphere here."
International ball, baby. Yeah.
Okay, so hold on.
The U.S. needs more of it.
I'll finish the intros and then we'll get into it because I have thoughts on Horn Guy here. All right, so we're going to talk World Baseball Classic. We got White Sox and Cubs stuff to talk about. Mitch is all fired up about Jose Abreu, so we're going to give him that platform too. All that and who the fuck knows what else. Let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications so you'll be the first to know. Oh, they just got their first strikeout. Joe Kelly just got the first White Sox pitching strikeout, 20 plate appearances into the game versus the Royals. The White Sox are currently losing 11-0. But
not overreacting. Not overreacting.
God, no. Half the teams in the fucking World Baseball Classic. We got that excuse now.
We're just pointing out the stats.
Dylan Cease totally didn't start tonight. He's
Dylan Cease regression.
He's figuring it out. He got his Diamond Club in MLB The Show and was like, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
Right? Somebody's been reading their headlines.
And also, it's brought to you by Uncle Bud's. Go check out Uncle Bud's, 9700 South Cicero. The food's fantastic. Always got good drink specials going on. They have a lot of local whiskey and bourbon that I actually had the old fashioned there the last time I was there. It was delicious. It was bourbon made by a guy right across the border in Indiana. I've never heard of it before. It was actually called Whiskey Dick. It's fucking hilarious, but it was a really, really good old fashioned. Wasn't false advertising. And then the food.
like a personal problem.
The food is fantastic as well. I've never had anything bad there. I know a new summer menu is coming out soon. Really looking forward to that. Our Uncle Bud, yes, I was quasi related to Bud, who it's named after, was a big fisherman. So there's always good seafood and fish related items on the menu, but a lot of good bar food as well. Uncle Bud's on 9700 South Cicero. Tell them Pinwheels sent you. All right, horn guy. I'm all horned up now. My problem with horn guy, I need consistency, horn guy, and you got to stop blowing the damn horn like in the middle of like the batter's swing. Like his timing was terrible. That was my biggest quip.
Well, so
With horn
obviously
guy.
he's a Cuban guy, Cuban fan. It could have been a lot worse, guys. Like Cuba only scored 2 runs. He could have done a lot more on the horn.
Imagine if that was a blowout.
Cuba only got, I think, 3 hits the entire game.
It'd be like the Babylon soundtrack. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the like set horn after each Cuba strikeout, which shout out to Cuba's pitcher. So at first I messaged you guys. I was like, I love his delayed kick on his pitching. And White Sox Dave even tweeted out, like, you could tell there was
Japanese influence.
And then I looked the guy up and he plays in the Japanese league.
See, you missed that because you muted it. They talked about
They were
Oh
talking.
yeah, I muted that shit. But yeah, that was really good. And so he had a good horn for after he got a strikeout. Like that was cool. And I saw a bunch of people tweeting like, how much would it suck to strike out and you have to hear the horn, like when you're walking back to the bench? Like, that's awesome. I like that. But the thing that really bothered me was like the pitcher was like mid windup and he just burn. I'm like, bro, like you're not helping your own team here. Like, do it in between pitches. That was my biggest thing with the horn guy.
It sounded like literally every time that he would honk the horn, it would go. I'd waiting for someone to be like, "Hey, I'm walking over here." Like it sounded like someone was honking a horn on a street corner, or like someone like bogarted the golf cart.
Hold on, this is the kind of takes we need here. The horn was so loud that Moncada and Robert Jr. couldn't focus.
There you go.
Obviously,
that's the spin zone. Sox.
I mean, we are.
Robert's usually playing in front of that like 10,000 people crowd. So all of a sudden, there's a horn in the mix. That's the most noise he's seen during a game.
We are not even 10 minutes in the show. That might be a comment of the night because that's beautiful.
Why does it have to be a horn though? Why can't it be like a harp or like I don't know, like a recorder?
How the hell are you getting a harp?
Probably hard to like
some hot cross buns on the recorder. It'd be great. Like,
I mean, this is definitely an American take here because if you look at like most of these leagues, if you look at the highlights of them,
no, I get it, man.
No, I'm just saying this is definitely like an American viewer. We're used to MLB. We're used to like the stadium, the organ chants or whatever it is.
Be nuts.
We're not used to horns.
Okay, so you're talking to a guy,
right? Does he look like someone that would play the horn at every game? Have you seen who, like the guy it looks like? Does he look like a Horatio Hornblower, if you will?
Probably. I mean, if he traveled to what was that in Taiwan?
So he's got to have a big
Cuba to rip the horn. He's definitely going to play that every game. But
strike out.
Although you got to remember, you're talking to a guy that during COVID, I would stay up.
KBL.
I would go to sleep early so I could wake up late so I could bet KBL games. I know that shit that goes on there. The cheerleaders, the mascots, the horns, everybody's going nuts. That shit was fun as hell. But you know what? They did it in between pitches. That's my only quip here. Between pitches.
The other problem
in between pitches.
The other problem is, and we also notice this, like whenever there's a heckler, the one loud guy or lady sometimes.
He always sits next to
the camera. If it's only one person, it's a lot more noticeable. If it was like, say whatever, a bigger amount of people playing the horns, it would have sounded different except for the one guy doing the horn.
That's true too. That's a good point. Because like in those KBL games, like if you don't have a horn, you're weird. Like the whole
sometimes you see like an entire band out there.
You're left out. You're the outcast.
Yeah, it is fucking bedlam, and I loved every second of it.
They have the rally brass section.
Oh, look at that knockoff horn. That's not even a brand name horn.
Dude. It gets you. I get that, and it probably makes the experience. Like I wanted to go to a KBL game after watching that shit. I was like, fuck yeah, this looks like fun. But There you go. Didn't really think we were going to start off with the horn guy, but it's definitely something that needs to be talked about.
So which one's worse, the horn or the pitch clock? Which one creates more chaos?
I would say the horn because I really did not even notice the pitch clock the last Sox game I watched.
Okay, I gotta say it was weird watching the WCB game without all of it. Like they did an inside move, they did an invert, because they're back to international rules. It was like, forgot you could do that again for a second. It was because there was, I think the guy from Cuba, one of the pitchers was taking his precious ass time, and I'm like, God, get on the bump. But
I mean, we might as well just stay here since we already started with it. But WBC has started.
Mhm.
I'm pretty pumped. I've been saying for months now, I've been looking forward to this, mainly because it's competitive baseball. I mean, spring training games are great, whatever, but you could tell deep down those guys just really don't give a shit. A
Yeah.
lot of them are just trying out shit, going through motions, whatever. Except Oscar Colas, who apparently is just running like his hair's on fire down first base to beat out infield ground balls, and I love it. But I mean, you look around and like even watching that Netherlands Cuba game, like the Netherlands infield is impressive.
4 MLB starting shortstops.
Impressive. Couple gold gloves in that infield, really good. And you know, I'm watching that game. I'm like, okay, they got Moncada and Robert Jr. on Cuba. I mean, it's funny that some dude that's like an insurance salesman from the Netherlands knew to pound Robert Jr. with fucking sliders low and away. But anyways, you're like, okay, these teams are pretty good. This should be a pretty fun tournament. And then it's like Team USA lineup. Like the official lineup comes out. And this graphic came out today at 5:30. This is USA's lineup for game 1. Mookie Betts leading off playing right field.
D's.
Some dude that did not have as many hits as Larry Garcia a couple years ago playing center field. Like his name's Mike Trout. Number 3, Kyle Schwarber batting third, DHing. Paul Goldschmidt, Fids and all those favorite, playing first. Another guy on your guys' favorite team, Nolan Arenado, playing third.
Chokers in the playoffs. I know.
I'm just calling what it is.
I know
Nolan
them well.
Arenado's the best third baseman in baseball.
I know that. I saw them strike out back to back.
Excuse me, Nick Madrigal would like a word. Thank you.
You can have a lot of words, but he's still the best third baseman in baseball.
Not yet, Zoe.
Kyle Tucker in left field. I'm a big Kyle Tucker fan. I hate that he's on the
underrated,
Astros, but I'm a big Kyle Tucker guy. And then fucking their 7th batter is Trey Turner. He's batting 7. Trey Turner playing short. Another Philly, JT Realmuto catching, batting 8th. And then base hit fucking machine, Jeff McNeil playing second base, batting 9.
McNeil was linked too. Like weren't we wondering like who's going to play second?
We thought actually they might move Trey to second and put Tim at third or at short, or they were going to put Trey at short and Trevor Story at second. But I guess Trevor Story's not playing anymore. But Jeff McNeil, I mean, in the 9-hole, give me Jeff McNeil batting 9th all day, dude.
So I had not seen the lineup until you just read it right now. I mean, I love Kyle Schwarber, but what the hell is he doing batting third? I know he's going to hit for power. I know he's going to hit a shitload of home runs in the tournament. But I mean, Paul Goldschmidt is like 10 times the hitter.
Yeah, I maybe trying to put the lefty bat in there.
That's what I was.
Is that what he's doing? I guess.
Mookie
Splitting up the righties.
Is Mookie
No,
a switch
Mookie's
hitter?
just a righty.
All right, so
Nice
you go righty. Yeah, righty, lefty. What's Goldschmidt?
He's
Righty.
righty.
Nolan Arenado's a righty.
Righty.
Kyle Tucker's
I mean,
a
Kevin,
lefty.
we've said it before. I don't care if you're righty or lefty. Put your best hitters.
Oh no, I agree. But I mean, I feel like Kyle Schwarber's the type of guy that he's gonna fucking thrive in this atmosphere.
And this is why. Well, this is purely based on my whatever opinion. This is why Mark DeRosa, whenever he was ever even like hinted at, like, oh, he could be a candidate for Cubs manager. No.
Can we
he
talk
shouldn't
about
be.
Mark DeRosa for a minute? Because
D-Rod?
Mark DeRosa is a fucking hypocrite, is what Mark DeRosa is. Because when Tim Anderson did the bat flip against the Royals, he went on MLB Network. This isn't my baseball. I don't like this shit. Blah, blah. I have a 40-foot stick up my ass. Blah, blah, blah. And now there's these quotes coming out that Tim Anderson said, DeRosa came up to me and was like, I need the bat flip. And I was like, you got it, coach.
Look, Can people evolve? So how long ago was this? 3 years ago that he threw a hissy
Yeah,
fit?
that was 4
I
years
threw a-
ago, Zoe.
I threw a hissy fit 3 years ago, man. I was upset. I was
It
angry.
still bothers
I
you.
didn't know
deep down.
why. Well, I don't like when someone throws a bat up that can actually that goes 20 feet in the air. That's kind of fucking
Wilson
stupid.
Contreras.
Hurt somebody.
You loved it when he did it against the Sox.
The only time I've really loved a bat flip was KB's brother-in-law Tomo threw a team was talking shit and he hit a game-winning homer and he threw the bat up and then he unstrapped
This
both.
is a direct
gloves
quote
and-
from DeRosa.
Yeah, I do remember that.
If
Yeah.
my kid did that, I'm taking him to the car. And then
Maybe he meant to get him some orange slices and some Capri Suns.
flash forward later, apparently he had surgery to remove the 40-foot stick out of his ass. And he's telling
Evolved.
Tim, hey, buddy, I need the bat flip. But
You
Well,
can't stop
he
the
was
rising-
he
you
he
can't
was like
stop
in the
the rising
locker room
Clearly
full of
not.
guys
He
who
can
do
put
that
him in the
all the time.
lineup.
no, Tim's not breaking that lineup. I don't care. I don't
Probably
care
say, I
who's
don't want
the
any
coach.
injuries.
Yeah, I don't care who's the
I'm fine
oh,
if Cuba gets bounced first round and TA doesn't
Which-
play.
Actually,
on their way.
that's great for you guys. That's like another chip on his shoulder right there.
well,
Like,
no,
fuck you guys. I should be a starter. I'll show you.
that's a
and
great
it's a
point,
regular
Mitch.
He was
because
pissed at Brian Cashman for not playing him in the All-Star game, and he went on a tear in the second half of the season.
I'm really happy you brought up
Yeah.
the injuries, Mitch. Because
Although,
let's
can I
talk.
ask you quick-
Let's talk
can I
about
interrupt
hold
real
on.
quick. Aldo, what are
I'm-
you drinking that keeps disappearing into the green screen?
It's Coors Banquet.
Coors, big.
Oh, it's like okay, there you go. It's like Ghost Coors.
Let's talk about injuries. What the fuck is the Dominican Republic doing?
They're taking Pedro Grifol's lead.
Why? Here's Dominican Republic's lineup today for their exhibition versus Atlanta. Julio Rodriguez in center, Rafael Devers DHing, Manny Machado playing third, Teoscar Hernandez playing right, Robinson Cano playing first, Gary Sanchez catching, Eloy Jimenez in left field. Why is he playing the outfield?
Well, with all due respect to the Dominican Republic, there's a reason they're not a world power.
Ooh.
Damn.
I like it. I mean, I get it. When you have Manny Machado, you play him at third. And then Rafael Devers, you need that bat in your lineup, but he has no position besides third base. So you DH him. But I just hate seeing Eloy in left field.
Is the Dominican Republic the Syracuse of international baseball?
Well, I mean, they got Jeremy Pena batting ninth.
Well,
But
you
like
know,
they I
also,
don't think they haven't they don't have the success that Cuba's had.
the biggest issue with Eloy in left is because he has this grand illusion that he's competing for the White Sox right field job. So you know he's going to be going try hard to show everyone, I am in fact an outfielder.
That's what you have
This
to
is a
worry about.
disaster waiting to happen.
That's what
Yep.
you have.
He's
to
going to make some try hard diving catch. That's, yeah. Oh, God. I can picture. Oh, I just got sick.
I don't know if I would be very stressed watching the game if I was.
I was he already started a few games in right field in spring training, but like that's probably only like half the game, maybe.
Right. And that's probably also with every time he goes to the dugout, 10 people being like, chill. Like,
Pedro
chill.
saw the lineup. He's like, all right, it's a bunch of
Yeah.
righties today. We can put him in right field.
Yeah. Like, we'll just throw him in right. But
Too many
the biggest knock against Team USA is the pitching staff. It's not.
I thought you were
great.
gonna say their uniforms.
Every team's uniform suck. Great Britain's is a joke.
Yeah, that one is trash.
Shout
Great
out
Britain's looks
Harrison
like-
Ford.
They have like Times New Roman across their chest, and it just says Great Britain.
No, dude, Canada's.
Canada's are terrible. They're all bad.
They look like travel team uniforms that were like cheap. They had to throw together last minute. and That's what they came up with.
Yeah. No, Ian, that's not what I mean. But Eloy should not be playing left field. I wasn't not happy about that. I was not happy to see that
For
whatsoever.
the people listening, this is why you have to tune in live.
Yeah, he said,
Ian in the
"Oh,
comments.
do you
Oh,
mean
so
the
even the White
Whites-
Sox are hella injury ridden and need to blow it up and rebuild.
I know you're a Cub fan. We really can't make fun of injury ridden
we
right
can't.
now with
Let's
the
say this, John.
say out. We gotta just wish some goodwill because we don't want that
We don't want that
that
bad
virus,
juju.
that injury bug to cross
So-
to the north side.
for all the hype when the hats came out for the World Baseball Classic and everyone, oh, these hats are dope. Like I'm buying the blah blah blah. The jerseys came out. I mean,
Canada's is terrible.
failhorn of all failhorn. Puerto Rico has a dildo on their jersey.
This guy's got a
They're just so plain. Like I wanted to like the Mexican jerseys, but like I knew ever since like it was just like the plain M, like the rounded M logo for the hats. I'm like, I already know what the font is. This isn't gonna look that cool. Somebody try to hype it up. I just looked at it. I'm like, not
Are they all-
really.
By
Are
the
they
way,
all-
what happened to Mexico doing their best White Sox impression? They got their ass handed to them by Cleveland today. Throwing that out there.
The North and the South. Canada got beat by the Cubs too. Are they using Under Armour jerseys? Are these uniforms from? Because I know
I have
Canada's is
no
Under Armour.
idea.
Under Armour makes absolutely the absolute worst baseball uniforms. Actually, like they can stick with football, but their baseball uniforms are actually doo-doo butter. It's
Yeah,
bad.
They can sponsor this show though.
True, and I will wear one.
We love Under Armour. You guys are the best.
I've
Powers,
just
baby,
been
powers.
You guys make the #1 podcast.
even
merch.
United States jerseys. They're extremely underwhelming.
Yeah.
Very underwhelming. My dark horse for the tournament is Japan.
Well, I was gonna say, dude, I remember when you shared what did you share like a week ago or something, and then I looked up. I think a few days ago they became the favorite. You can't even call them a dark horse anymore.
Well, I just feel like everyone's talking about like Ben
Dominican
Verlander
Republic,
put out the United States
USA.
lineup and was like, "This is the greatest baseball lineup ever created in the history of baseball."
I saw somebody tweet out. I mean, like I don't like besides Otani and maybe no. I mean that's besides Otani. I don't really know anybody else on the Japanese team. But somebody tweeted out. They're like, yeah, they have another guy who pitches as good as Otani. They have another guy who hits as good as Otani. I was
Yep.
like, okay.
Yeah, I guess the guy batting after Otani in the lineup has like broken all of his records in
Damn.
Japanese baseball. Like the dude's like sick. He'll be over here soon. And isn't
Right.
that outfielder that the Red Sox just paid a bunch of fucking money to playing on that team?
Oh yeah, there you go. I think so. Or is he? I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But if he is, that guy, yeah, he's a good hitter, I guess.
I bet you Japan's got some money ass pitchers on that team too.
Oh yeah.
Like they're gonna throw what's that dude on the A's now? He's got like a ghost forkball
Yeah.
or some
Well, I
shit
mean,
like that.
Yeah.
Dude, they got crazy shit over there. I'm not fucking with that shit.
The team I think is kind of cool. I'm rooting for. They're not going to win any games, but the Czech Republic has like a
Mitch.
really cool story. I was reading on MLB.com, and they had one guy that's like an insurance agent, and he like could only make 2 games a week while during qualifying because of
Yeah.
work conflicts. The other guy's like a firefighter, and like it's crazy how they made it. It's kind of insane.
like all the jokes that we make during spring training, we're like, oh, this guy's just hitting off, like a bag boy at the grocery. Like the Czech Republic is literally filled with guys who
Did you
just
guys
have
see the
everyday jobs.
TikTok? They
Guys,
made a
it-
TikTok with all the guys coming up from their team saying what their day job is.
Yeah, see, that's like, how can you not root for that?
Yeah.
My buddy Mitch used to play for Team Israel. He did in the Olympics this past year. He's not on the team this year. But why does Team Israel now have only 2 outfielders and 3 catchers on their roster? That one kind of boggles my mind.
They only have 2 outfielders?
Yeah, on their roster, it's Alex Dickerson and Jock Peterson, and that's it. The rest, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
All
infielders.
right. Time to see what Matt Mervis can do in center.
They're gonna be doing like, it's the Israeli shift. They're going to do 2 outfielders, 5 infielders. They're going to throw a lot of heavy ground balls. They're going to revolutionize the game, really.
Everyone
Oh,
knows
wait.
Jock
Speaking of
has
the
brains,
Japanese
so-
team, one thing I don't like is fucking the Cardinals player is hamming it up with them.
Oh, Lars
Lars Goodbar.
Goodbar, and he has the pepper shaker.
Yes.
And it's a
Stay
very,
away from
very
Otani. He doesn't
weird
like
hand
St.
movement.
Louis.
And like all the fans were doing this, and there was like
Yeah.
a video of like 20 people going like this, and I was like,
Did you think that went through?
Yeah, I was like,
I
that
don't think you thought that went through.
that means something different in America.
Stay away.
Well, I mean, did you see the cheer from the I was going to say the Netherlands. I couldn't be funny, but I was trying to pick a random team that wouldn't work. But never mind. I'll forget. I'll save the joke for another time when I want to hang.
One last thing I have in the World Baseball Classic. I was under the impression. I think I told you. I put it in the chat when they were like announcing some of the rosters. I was under the impression that Cuba was going to have a lot more MLB players.
So did I.
They do not. Like I thought Abreu was going to go. I think.
Isn't
Jordan
there reasons
Alvarez-
behind that though? Like,
Yeah, MLB blackouts actually.
No, well that's the
black
thing.
rules.
They're allowing them. They're allowing guys who defected. They allowed them to go back, but I guess not. Like I don't know if it is like a political thing with some of the guys or just they didn't. Like I mean, there's reasons other players from other countries didn't go just because they want to get acclimated to new teams or whatever. But I don't know if that was the reason.
Does
for it,
Australia
but-
have any MLB players on their team?
Yeah, tonight. Let's see here. I'll pull up the roster or the starting lineup. Even I think it might have. If the my dial-up internet works. Here we go. Log into AOL.
Australia's got 4 catchers.
AIM. There it is.
Depth.
So let's see here. Yeah. We've got Battaglia. No.
What?
Kennelly, Perkins, Spence. I don't know who he's.
I don't
Whitefield.
recognize anyone on Australia. The reason I'm asking is because the game in about 30 minutes is Australia versus Korea.
Rickson Wingrove. That's a pretty badass name. I won't lie. Rickson. That's a cool first name.
I'm sure some of these Korean dudes are in. Tommy Edmond plays.
Tommy
for
Edmond
Korea.
is. Yeah.
But I'm sure
He's got
some
an
of these
H on the
dudes-
back of his jersey now too, just out of
Sharon Dale. No.
second.
So there is Glenn Dinning, a shortstop. Robbie Glendenning plays for the Pirates. Maybe he's hitting 857 in spring training so far.
I think he's just in their system though. Is he a starter? I think they just have a couple prospects. Australia.
Yeah.
He's
Starters.
6 for 7 in spring training so far with the Pirates. Not a lot of sample size there, but
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Get him
I'll
on
still,
the team.
I'll still watch it. But
Why not?
and then after that, we got Panama versus Netherlands.
that's at what time? What time's that one at? That's
11 Eastern, so 10 o'clock here.
Oh, I also like when you see the schedule of some of these teams, because they're playing in what was it? I think they're in Taiwan, right?
This is Group A playing right now. and
Like
they're in
I think you
Taiwan.
have a couple times because like the broadcasting schedule, just how late they're doing it or late in the United States, you'll see like the team playing 2 games. Like it's not a doubleheader. It's just like the one game's at 9 or like 11 p.m. Eastern time, and then you see their next game is at like 7 in the morning.
well, like Panama played this morning, and then they're playing tonight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like they it's
I was like
one of
trippy to see. I'm like, wait, they're playing 2 in one day? Wait, no, not really. Okay.
like a club ball tournament. You're like, hey, we're gonna play one
We got
7 for the nightcap.
at 5 a.m. Chicago time. We got Team Italy versus Cuba.
Ooh, that'll be electric.
That'd be a good game.
Get my daily dose of Yohan Moncada, baby.
Team Italy will swing with their hands.
And then
Okay,
your
well,
boy-
Zoe, you mentioned how in spring training, especially early on, guys are sometimes going through the motions. It's not as competitive because they're only getting 2-3 at bats and then they're out of the game by like 6th inning or something. Oh, what do you make, if anything, about Luis Robert just looking like trash
So
He hit a
in
pitch
a
to-
more competitive environment?
yeah, he did hit a piss missile. He went
did?
1 for 4.
He did double.
But the first at bat, it looked like he went in the slow batting cage and no one told him. You know what I mean? Like he went in there. I felt like he went in there like expecting this dude to like pump like 96, 97, and homeboy was throwing like 82, and he was just. And then after that, I mean, since he's been on the White Sox, we've said it on the show. We've broken it down on this show. We've done videos. We've done stat analysis. We've done everything. The dude just can't lay off a low and away slider in the dirt. That is his Achilles heel at the plate. It is what it is. Everyone apparently in the world knows it, and they just fed him a
Literally
healthy,
in the world.
God,
healthy
that
dose
third
of that.
strikeout. That third strikeout was a full on like ass in the dugout swing
Yeah.
too. Like his ass. I mean, he was like wah, like he was showing it off.
And that's the thing with Luis Robert is when he swings bad, it's like he doesn't have like a bad miss. He has like a horrible miss. He either hits a piss missile or it's a horrible miss. The thing that scared
that with Javi, so it has happened in the past. Where you
the thing that scared me the most though was when he tried to get back to second to slide into second.
Oh yeah.
He's never been able to slide, and they always say they're working on it. And so I put up the video today of him sliding into second. And the funny thing was all the people that tried to defend him, like, oh, he was just trying to sneak his foot in there. Bro, he didn't slide until like he was like nuts over the bag. Like, and then he like fell to his ass and like stuck his leg out real quick.
Anybody defending that slide has never played baseball beyond T-ball. Like you have to know that you do not start a slide
It was
inside
so
of
bad. And
half body length.
all I could think of, I didn't see the caption. I didn't see anything. It was like the first thing in the morning. Like I was just waking up and I was sitting doing my thing on Twitter, and I just saw the slide, and in my head, I started panic scrolling
Oh,
to
jeez.
see Luis Robert snapped his ankle. Like there was a good minute and a half of just like heart in my ass, like, like it happened in the first fucking game. Like oh my god. But yeah, it was the horn. It was all the horn. The horn started.
It was.
That makes me. You ever see basketball when the dude's all fucking hungover and he's like this, and they're holding him up, and the dude hits the horn, and he's like, and he throws it.
It's like the guy, the gif where the guy is like,
Yeah, exactly.
starts laughing.
He was just trotting back to second. The dude hit the horn, so he dropped to his ass and stuck his leg out simultaneously.
That's hilarious.
Jesus Christ, that is pretty funny though, if you think about it like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to watch as much World Baseball Classic as I can. Yeah, I mean,
It's
gonna be
great, man.
What if the horn guy is still there? Like every
Then
time.
I watch it on mute and I fall asleep because that's what happened yesterday.
Sleeping in the bullpen. The thing is, too, like the best part about this too, and I we talked about it last night a little bit too in our DMs. It was so nice that everybody was watching the same game, and it's competitive baseball, and the timeline was just baseball. Like,
Yeah, Twitter was
there was
fun.
no NBA shit, there was no NFL shit, there was no. It was just baseball. Mostly the horn guy, but baseball, and then the horn guy again, and then more horn guy.
Yeah, but Twitter was fun last night. You're right. That's a good point.
Nice.
I mean, it was fun. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to watch. I can't wait till some of these other groups get started so the games aren't on at, 10, 11 o'clock or, 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
It'll be nice. But I think there's a reason why certain teams are in certain locations to start. Like, they're not going to have Team USA playing at 11 o'clock Central.
Yeah, the USA, Mexico, that group's, and they're playing in Arizona.
Yeah.
Label back.
Currently, Team USA is losing to San Francisco, the Giants.
Because the Giants are juggernauts. They got that. Oh wait, no, he went to Minnesota. Never mind. They had him for a second.
Yeah.
I went to the Mets and then Minnesota.
Oh yeah, the Mets. And then he took
so
this.
I guess let's switch gears
Touring the
to
country.
American baseball. All right, I'm gonna do this real quick, guys. So bear with me.
Uh-oh.
We've done this on every show so far. Why this bullshit's been going on? So it's only fair that we address the final chapter of it.
I know what you're gonna say. And just before you get into it, it's been so nice, just talking about like stuff on the field.
Yes.
That even though this news dropped, what was it, like Sunday?
Yeah, and
like even in the days between, like it kind of did get forgotten about, which is kind of like not good, but like it's like.
But it is.
But yes.
In the spirit of fair play, like this is the ending of it, so to speak, from the baseball investigation standpoint, and it's only fair to all parties involved that we talk about it. Now, I agree with you, although it's been fun talking about actual baseball, so that's why I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do it real quick, and then we're going to move on to other stuff. So MLB came back and said after their thorough investigation, they are not going to hand out any type of punishment for Mike Clevenger. In no sense, way, shape, or form does this make him completely innocent. You need to be very clear about that. MLB investigation is not the same thing as a criminal investigation. And I understand there has been no criminal charges brought up against him, but there could be a lot of reasons for that. Now, here's the one thing I do want to say about this. What I want to say about this is a lot of you need to shut the fuck up. Because a lot of you have never been involved with, related to any kind of involvement with any kind of domestic abuse case at all. Now, I've seen both sides of it. Personally, it's fucking awful. It's horrific. And a lot of you don't understand it. And you're talking out of your ass and you sound like a complete asshole. And it's been kind of sickening to see all these people go on Twitter right away and be like, I told you he was innocent. All you guys want to ruin this innocent man's life and all this other shit. Shut the fuck up. I'm not going to get into the details and all this other shit, but just you sound like a complete dickhead. For the girl's sake in this, for mainly the child's sake in this, I hope that some of these stories were fabricated and there is no wrongdoing. And it does sound like he's doing MLB sponsored counseling throughout the course of the season, because they've also mentioned that if he fucks up, they can pull his card real quick and he's gone. So hopefully he gets the help he needs, because when people need help, they are the only one that can start that process. So it sounds like he's starting that process, which will probably be good for all parties involved.
Yes.
But as it stands for right now, Mike Clevenger is going to be the 5th starter for the Chicago White Sox this season, because MLB has no problem. Now, if this makes you not want to root for the White Sox that day, if this makes you not want to go to a White Sox game that day, that is 1,000% your prerogative. And I'm not going to look at you any differently. I've already talked about how I'm not going to let one man ruin my baseball season this year. I'm not going to do that again. You can go and watch 2 other episodes, and while you're there, subscribe. But I mean, that's pretty much it with it.
They did share a picture of the MLB investigative team too, so we got that. They're great at their job. And no, I'm just kidding. It's,
oh, go ahead, Kev.
I was gonna say it's just. I'll just say this because I don't want to. I'm not again. It's not an endorsement. It's not a disclosure or whatever you want to say. But I'll continue to use this example, and this means law enforcement, and this isn't even a law enforcement investigation. I don't think that Major League Baseball is using the top of the line. They're not bringing in the guy from Glass Onion to to investigate the stuff. And so I think that to equate this with a criminal investigation is naive or and willfully ignorant. But the fact is, look, being charged isn't necessarily indicative of guilt any more than not being charged is indicative of innocence. I will always use this example. Tony Accardo, the boss of the Chicago outfit, his entire life, never spent a single night in jail. Was he innocent? Is that what we're going to say, that Tony Accardo, the boss of the Chicago mob, never broke a law? I mean, so in the end, just because there's a lack of evidence, because someone's not convicted or someone is convicted, sometimes even a conviction can be skewed. Take this with a grain of salt. The Major League investigation is not the end-all of end-all. Evidence comes up missing, conflicts, reasonable doubt. There's legalities involved, but you're like you said, Zoe, the victory laps over this. I mean, and the people that are taking the victory laps, to be honest, they're the morons anyway. They're always taking these sides. So I mean, it's not a thing to take a victory lap on. It's he's probably ducking something. There's somewhere in the ballpark of truth in all of this, and it doesn't take away the fact that it sounds like he's a dick, but. Not a victory lap thing. At the same time, just take into consideration, not all who are convicted or not all who are charged are guilty, and not all who are guilty are charged. And that's just how the system unfortunately works in the way. And yeah, civil suit, maybe get everybody under oath, swear someone under oath. People are a lot different when they're swearing under oath. They're not swearing under oath with Major League Baseball.
So, I mean, and I said this, the only thing I said publicly on Twitter about this, I thought he was an asshole when they signed him. I still think he's an asshole. I mean,
the only thing I'll add, and going back to your original point, Zoe, if we take what Mike Clevenger has said, like at face value, like he said he was open to the investigation, he was an open book. It turned in all the turned in like the phone multiple times, whatever that they reviewed. So if we take what he said by face value, we can look over to his ex when she went on the Score. And if we take what she said at face value, like in that interview, like she never shied away from the fact. She's like, yeah, like I am relying on this dude to pay for me and my son.
Really weird. She deleted everything too.
Yeah, and then but then like if we take what she said at the face value, she was never like, I hope like this ruins his entire career. I hope MLB suspends him for the year, whatever. She's like, I just want him to get help. Which, again, at the end of the day, hopefully that's what all these people get. Yep. Especially because there is a child involved, children involved, because he has multiple kids.
Adults fuck everything.
At the one thing that did raise the eyebrow for a lot of Sox fans who were very outright in their anger when the allegations first came out was at the end is like he is voluntarily agreeing to go. I don't know if the counseling stuff is for like family related stuff. His own
I think it's a little bit of everything and sprinkling some optics.
There was allegations of different drug reuse. But like at the end of the day, hopefully these people do get help, and that's really what matters the most here.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. So I won't get into that side of it because you don't want to go into the he said, she said stuff. I think just strictly from a baseball perspective, though. I know you said this is going to be the last time we talk about, but I don't think it's a story that really goes away because there's always going to be that cloud hanging over them wherever they go. There's going to be a lot of people booing them. There's going to be a lot of opposing crowds booing them. All of his teammates, you still got that in the back of your mind. I think the only way, as sad as it is, that it like goes away and people forgets about it if he pitches lights out and he's like really good. And that's
Or just like shit and gets cut.
Yeah, I mean, because like look at like Floyd Mayweather or like people like or Tyreek Hill.
Well, he's gonna see his first spring training action, I believe, this weekend.
Saturday, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's done some bullpen sessions. Again, I feel like we've already talked way more than we ever should about a fifth fucking starter. Like, it's not, and that's the other thing that I think is weird about this whole thing. It's not like whatever.
I am not going to judge though somebody that does microdosing of Silaman. I'm not going to judge, but he's probably not. He's probably eating like full on caps and
when it comes to that shit, I honestly can give a flying fuck as long as you can pitch good. It's beating kids is a different level than fucking.
I mean, remember, but threw a no hitter on acid, so let's pretend like that. Oh, he walked like 10 guys.
All right, enough. I just wanted to do that because we have talked about every step in this process, so I feel like we needed to do the.
Backing that up, if you guys want to trade for Adrian Sampson, he's still available.
No, you fucked up. I saw your Twitter.
Oh, damn it, Aldo, you gave it.
Yep.
It went from Gavin Sheets to even more. I'm being upfront.
Helsley or whatever the fuck the guy's name is.
Yeah, Hazley. Is he even still with the Sox?
No, he left. He's in going.
He left, and as Steven pointed out in the comments, you remember that Rick Hahn hype for good old Romy? Yeah, he's batting .059 in spring.
Was anyone really surprised though?
No,
he had a lower OPS than in the minor leagues last season than Josh Harrison had in the.
Well, they did.
Okay, I need to ask. Because again, I do try to follow as much as I can about the White Sox. I know Romy, like he wasn't like a highly regarded prospect. I think he wasn't.
No,
where did the Romy Gonzalez hype like come from? Because
Hahn.
Partly
Hahn, before, since
because he was one of the few guys in the dog days of like August when the team clearly looked like they didn't give a shit. So they called up this Gonzalez kid who's hustling and he's this scrappy player. So everyone falls in love with him, overlooking the fact that he really wasn't doing anything at the plate, but he played hard and it was like, this is refreshing. Someone looks like they care out here. So that's where the hype kind of started. Because he was not, if you look at his numbers, he wasn't that good last year.
That's actually really super true. And it comes from a place of desperation where we're just like, oh my God, please someone be good.
But I mean, okay. I was going to say it's such a weird, because like heading into spring training, think about it. Cause like, when did they sign Elvis Andrews? It was like, they're already into camp, right?
Yeah, they signed on.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so like Rick Hahn has the press conference. He's like, yeah, the biggest story is Romy Gonzalez. And then like the next day, they signed Elvis Andrews.
Rick Hahn might be a pain in the ass, but he's not an idiot. Like he knew it was bullshit.
He had a 41% K rate and a 0% walk rate in September.
Okay. Hey, he's a free swingers though. Make him.
The Miami propaganda machine. I loved it. See, now the comments are starting to cook.
God dang. It's a rough run. God.
Yeah, that sounds like a movie.
Didn't even bring up the hemorrhoids.
But this is one of the things I wanted to talk about on the show. I think I'm on the Elvis Andrews train.
Oh, I saw you tweet about
I think
that.
the swing thing's real. I think he actually, I don't think that was just spring training talk. I think he actually did figure out something with the injured wrist.
I gotta say, I agree, bud.
He's complimenting the loaf.
The flow is magnificent.
Yeah,
that's another reason why you should
because it goes into the green screen a little bit. So.
That's why you guys should be watching us live and subscribing, you heathens, because Aldo's flow is on point today, and you never know what Mitch is going to wear.
Sometimes nothing at all.
That one time, we weren't live though. But
that was Pinwheels and Ivy After Dark.
That was a Snapchat After Dark.
That whole thing with Elvis thinking he fixed his elbow and all that stuff. I know we all, like we laughed at it and we're all like, okay, buddy.
Skill?
I mean, that's a take.
It's more well for
but-
me. It was more because like it's not like it was like a 1 year thing or 2 year thing. Like it was like he hasn't been good for like 4 or 5
Right.
years.
It was like a 3-month thing. But
Right.
my thing, the reason why I'm getting on this train, I'm very impressed with the play at second base. I mean, there's been a couple diving catches, which whatever. That's just him being an athlete. The thing that I'm impressed with is the turning double plays, because it's completely different angle, all that other stuff. No, that's Mitch's bag, man. That's also Mitch's bag.
Sack.
Yeah. Yep.
How much do you want to win, Mitch?
Just
Well, we'll find out. I still gotta get in. I still gotta make it. I'm like
Yeah.
a mid-major school right now. I'm still awaiting my fate.
Maybe you
you're
got to
big-
bribe the judges here.
You're
Give 'em a
big
little
time
show.
mid-major. Yeah, you're like Delaware right now coming in.
That's right.
I love
he's gonna
it.
run that Princeton offense. In the
Hey,
Hey,
one-
you know what though? If I do sneak in, it's gonna be electric. And if not, I spent 22 years not getting in, so no skin off my ass.
Oh,
I mean,
Mitch loves getting in. For all
the
the
NASCAR contingent of White Sox Twitter is gonna absolutely love you. I mean,
Too bad it's
I'll-
a small contingent. But
all 7 of them will have a good time. But Dog will tweet 47 times at you. So I guess turn
There
off
we
your
go.
DM.
Yeah, getting the niche audience of the niche audience really really gonna win.
So
The
I
votes
guess
here.
for those of you that don't know what the hell we're talking about, tomorrow is the big 108 tournament reveal show. Those guys are our boys over there. It's a big thing they do every year. It's all White Sox Twitter personalities, blog hosts, just people in general. Beef, and this year, Brewham Luke spent a lot of time in a dark, secluded room together, which we don't need to ask what else happened in there.
It was right
Yeah,
next
with
door to
Aaron Rodgers.
Next door to Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
Yeah, they came out smelling like patchouli and feet,
Julian.
and they created these brackets, and it's just an amazing. I just don't have the patience for that shit. I can't believe how much time and effort they put into this, and I'm going to tell you from experience as
Oh,
a
yeah.
former multiple time 1 seed, not a big deal. Never won though. I always win my bracket or my section, but I never go
I
farther
thought you
than
were
that.
in the championship the 1 year. You had like Joe Creedy shout you out or something.
No, I make it to the elite. I'm very good. I'm like a Gonzaga. I come in as a number 1 seed and make it to like the Elite 8 or Final 4 and always get
I
bounced.
thought you was 1 year you were in the champ because I remember it was right when I started working for Sports Mockery and you're putting in like the chats like, hey, like help us out, like vote. So I had like everyone in my
Fuck off,
fraternity.
Mitch.
Huh?
Why are you blowing up my spot, man?
No, I'm
Don't
just
give me
saying I
that
had
fucking
everyone. I was
bullshit.
the president of fraternity at the time, and I had everyone like, hey, I'm like, vote for this Zoe guy, and everyone's like, who?
Oh, there you go,
Yeah,
Zoe.
vote for him.
Yeah.
So you had like 50 extra votes because of that.
So you have to start hitting the frat houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I also feel like I'm an
votes get
albatross.
farther.
I feel like I'm an albatross around Zoe's neck. Every time he gets to the Elite 8, it's held against him that I'm a Cub fan.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Gonzaga where I make it to the Elite 8 and get bounced all the time. But as a former 1
Everyone knows what's
seed,
going on. Bribes and kickbacks. That's how you win this thing.
I will tell you though,
Go Bots.
even if you're not in the tournament, just to spectate, people, it
Contact.
starts out like everyone's like, "Ooh, vote for me!" Like, "Oh, here's a Joe Creedy cameo. Oh, here's a goofy video. I'm silly." And then by like the 3rd round, it's like, "This bitch fucking loves Nazis. Vote for me." It's like every time you're like, "What the?" Like, I watch this tournament and I'm just like, "Wow, where is this going? How is this is about White Sox Twitter for Christ's sake?" It gets nuts, dude.
And
It's
then someone
absolutely
pulls in the
hilarious.
inevitably pulls in the bar stool, gets the bar stool endorsement.
The
And so
Barstool
someone-
endorsement, and then there's been years where like people purchase like bot farms in India and shit to like hammer the votes, and like it's crazy, man.
Well, that's how you win
So we-
elections, though. You
Yeah,
want to
so we-
win? You got to play
I mean,
dirty.
we are in Chicago.
We have
so-
Beef in the chat. I have a question, Beef. Is it illegal for me to force all of my students every single round to log into their computers every class period and then vote? Or is that considered a bot farm? Or is that just
No, they're real.
child labor
Yeah, they're real people.
violations?
They're just missing out on a quality education. But that,
Yeah,
that should
but, I mean,
Class.
Ian, that's the best way to put it. Is there's a couple things I can guarantee you about the one-way tournament. One, there's going to be some funny ass content because it's a content machine. It's
Great
the
content.
people, the creativity is off the charts. It's fucking phenomenal to watch. And 2, people are going to get out of pocket.
Mhm.
And it's usually around the 3rd or 4th round. And that's usually, or when people get desperate.
We got a ruling. We got a ruling. We're gonna
Yeah.
break some child labor laws. Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. The reveal show is tomorrow night. I believe 8:00. Watch it. Well, while you're at YouTube, subscribe to our channel and then go over to their channel and subscribe and watch the reveal show.
2 free
I
tickets.
think they got a lot of guests. It's always the reveal show is always a lot
We'll
of
have
fun.
our bracketology post game show there live.
No, that's their gig, man. We ain't gonna step up. They do their own shit. I know what you're saying, Mitch, but
Can I say this ahead of time? I think Missy is going to be a dark horse to go deep into this thing. I feel like she's going to be doing some chug things with alcohol poisoning.
Well, you're not going to be here next week, Fid, so you can give your dark horse now. But the rest of us, when we're here next week, after they do the 5 surprise guests tomorrow night, we'll do our own dark horse predictions.
I don't want to spoil it, but like we're all thinking who one could be, right? Like a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No idea. What you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in Paris for the first few rounds. That's gonna be pretty interesting. I'm gonna be internationally supporting. I'm gonna get some French people.
You're gonna come as a bot, Kevin. We'll be like, we're getting some European votes here. What's going on?
Oh, mon ami.
They won't know it. Go like to the Notre Dame Cathedral and be like, hey, look, this is the Pope of White Sox Twitter. Please vote for him.
Yes.
Big Notre Dame guy. Are you?
I don't even know if I'm in it this year. So.
Oh, come on, get out of here.
They did the 1 seed. They did the 1
here.
seed reveal already. I'm not a 1 seed. That broke my streak of 1 seeds. I'm very.
I think
curious.
you're like a respectable 4 seed.
Which I'm good with. I'd rather be there because every time I'm the 1 seed, you got a bullseye on your back.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's Amsterdam at the end of the week, but that's actually hilarious because.
All right, what were we? Oh, Elvis Andrews.
You're on the Elvis Andrews train.
I'm on the Elvis Andrews train, mainly because of the fielding that I've seen from him. I think the hitting's going to come. The hitting's looked really good. Again, it's spring training. I don't put a lot of weight into it. The biggest thing I was watching with him was the angles at second base, just being able to basically be on the opposite side of the diamond. It's like a whole mirror, whatever. And the way he's been turning to, the way he's been covering ground. And then on Beef's other show, the Azul, tune on to that show on Monday nights. I was privileged enough to be a guest, and we did a whole vibe check for the team. Elvis is in immaculate tier because I've never seen this many interviews with Elvis, especially as a member of the White Sox. That man is just walking around with the biggest fucking smile on his face. He gives A+ answers to questions. They asked him about Oscar Colas, and his answer made me want to run through a fucking wall. I think Oscar Colas will win Rookie of the Year now.
Rami Gonzalez wanted his autograph after last season. He's like, hey, I don't know if you're going to be back next year. Can I sign my bats?
I was going to say this. This can lead into Mitch's a Brady talk maybe. But like it kind of seems like Elvis Andrews is like the leader of the team now.
Yeah.
It kind of does. I mean, we've always said that this is Tim's team now. And I still think that's true, but I think we also said that there needs to be that clubhouse guy because Tim's not a rah-rah guy. You know what I mean? And I think Elvis Andreas, he's the rah-rah guy. He's that locker room guy. And he's got the biggest dick, apparently.
All right, Mitch, talk about
Hold on. Before Jose Abreu.
That was a series of 3 great posts right there, Senor.
Before we take that turn into Abreu controversy, I do want to bring up, Mitch wrote a fantastic article. I don't know. Did you post it yet about Oscar Colas?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Because I read everything right when you post it.
Can we share our shirt? Want to share our shirt?
Oh yeah. Yes, that's right.
You could
buy a Colas shirt.
Yeah, we have merch. It's fantastic merch. I'm actually drinking out of our nice little cup here. My hoodie's on the way. Apparently it's in France. Maybe Fitz could pick it up.
Pick it up. Bring it back with you.
But it's fantastic. We have a Oscar Colas shirt. It just says Colas in the Coca-Cola font. It's pretty dope.
I'll put it in the chat or the StreamYard.
Yeah, there's a link on our homepage, but support the cause, boys and girls. If there's ever a girl watching this show, support this cause. Buy some merch. But
International Women's Day, by the way.
Shout out all the lovely ladies.
I'm a big fan.
I'm frozen.
Oscar Colas has impressed me this preseason or spring training. It's not preseason, spring training. He's not hitting a ton of bombs. He's not even hitting a lot of doubles. The thing is, he's putting the bat on the ball. He's getting hits. one of the things that we heard rumors about was how he like didn't care and blah blah blah. He sure as hell isn't showing it this time. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, in this game against the Royals where they're getting their shit pushed in, he's running out infield singles. Like the guy, he's hustling. He looks like he's doing everything the right way. I didn't realize how much of a fucking brick shithouse he was. And again, like I said last week, for all the people worried about the power, have you not seen the size of this man? Like the power is going to be there. Like
It'll be there.
I'm more impressed with the bat to ball skills. That's what I was most worried about as a guy who's never faced major league pitching before.
And the discipline he showed. Like,
Yes.
my first 2 at bats I watched of him in all truth, because I try and avoid a lot of spring training just for like overreactions. But I watched the game against the Brewers. He's facing a former Cy Young guy. I know they're trying to work things out, but he's 2-2 with Corbin Burns. And he didn't chase anything outside the zone, drew a walk. And then his next at bat, he ripped a single to right. He's going to opposite field. Like, he has a very good approach at the plate. And from what I've seen in the small sample size, pretty good plate discipline too.
And hold on, I want to respond to a comment here because Alex is our guy. Alex said it's Lance Litton's team in his opinion. I don't think Lance wants that. I feel like Lance is like the cool ass uncle that like drives a cool like motorcycle or pickup truck and like shows up and he'll buy you beer if you need beer on the weekend, but he doesn't want the responsibilities of being a parent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he'll be there. He'll give you some good ass advice. He's usually your first call if you ever get locked up. Like again, you know what I mean? But like he doesn't want to be like your dad. You know what I mean? He wants to just be that guy for you.
He's the guy bringing the 6-pack to the party, not the one getting to clean up after.
Yeah, he's the one when like they walk into the party, like maybe a case of beer gets left outside, and you and your buddies go and grab it and get hammered in the woods. But
and
like,
I think we've talked about it before. How just being a starting pitcher, like maybe you can be like the leader of the staff, but like if you're a guy pitching one every 5 days, it's kind of tough to be the rah-rah guy day in day out.
I think Lance Lynn, if he's not the best, he's top 3 best interviews on this team. His answers are always phenomenal.
TA1. I'm trying to be positive, though. I'm trying to be positive.
No, Lance Lynn gives a great
Lance Lynn.
Great interview, though. He no bullshit answers. I always enjoy a good Lance Lynn interview. Now, as we're talking about leaders of the team, though, go ahead, Mitch. You got to play it out. You got to tell people the backstory, and you got to do it in the quick version, and then give your opinion.
So this happened literally like the day after we recorded our show last week. So this has been out for a while. So this is probably the last time we'll talk about Abreu to opening day, because TA said, they're done talking about him. I'm going to be, off the Jose Abreu horse as well. But he came out with an interview with the Astros, and it was a guy from the Chicago Sun-Times. They were asking him about his time with the White Sox and how it differs basically to his time with the Astros. And he essentially said the White Sox were not a family last year, and he felt disrespected in Chicago. And that's one of the reasons he's like, well, eventually it's time for a change. So a lot of people took those comments and were like, well, it shows he wasn't a leader and times got tough and he bailed. And this is a lot. Like, it wasn't just like a one-off thing. There's some people, and like a lot of people on Twitter that I consider like pretty smart baseball people at one point. And you see, it was an overwhelming majority that's going through. And I know Twitter doesn't make up all the fan base, but like, honestly, as a Jose Abreu fan and a White Sox fan in general, it sat the wrong way. It kind of pissed me off. And I'll go through both of these things because I think both are blatantly false. One, quitting on the White Sox, and two, not being a leader. We'll go with the leader one first. I think for starters, was he a vocal guy in the clubhouse? The one giving up to get a speech? No, absolutely not. Right. So that is fair. He wasn't the big rah-rah guy giving a speech. But I think leading by example counts or something, especially when you consider how long he was there. And everyone that's ever played with him, like the coaches, like all 3 managers, you talk to him, he's always the first one in, hardest working guy in the room, universally respected by everyone in the clubhouse. So I think that's got to count for something. If you're setting a good example, which there hasn't been a lot of them in the White Sox clubhouse, Todd Frazier and Adam LaRoche, that whole thing, we got to, it's good to have a guy that sets a good example. That's number one. 2, he's there all the time. And in NBA, in an era with like Yohan Moncada's and load management of the world, the guy played nearly every game. He's playing hurt. Like, that's got to count for something as well. So you can't accuse him for quitting on the team either, because he'd been there through 9 years. He was there through that whole bullshit in like 2017 when the clubhouse was an absolute disaster. He was there when they were one of the worst teams in the American League Central for years through that rebuild. He was there through thick and thin. So he didn't quit doing like any of those. And even when he wanted to say, he said, I would sign myself. I'll come out and re-sign myself. And the White Sox front office is like, well, we might not, we might not, we may or may not. So I can see where he felt disrespect. It wasn't until Jerry Reinsdorf stepped in that he was brought back. So there's a good chance they're going to let him go. So he felt disrespected. He'd been there for 9 years. He set a perfect example. Never said anything wrong in the media. Never said, you never hear negative fan interaction. Like, he's a class act guy. So I think leading by example's got to count for something. And the quitting on the White Sox is total bullshit because he was there 9 years. He played almost every game. He put up with a lot of their crap, and he could see the writing on the wall. He's a smart guy. He saw they drafted his replacement. They saw how poorly he was playing in right field. Like, I cannot fault the guy for leaving. I think both of those are completely bogus for a guy that had done everything he could for this team. Like, I think it's ridiculous and quite frankly, a little disrespectful.
I am in 100% agreement with you, young Mitchell. It's like all of a sudden the guy says one thing that was blatantly obvious to all of us, that this team wasn't a family last year. How many of these fucking shows did we do last year where I was like, it looks like a fucking funeral out there? This team had no life. They didn't look connected at all. There was nothing going on. And so when he says it, all of a sudden people are like, I can't believe he said that. Are you fucking blind?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, he never claimed to be a leader. Everyone else called him that. He never went out and was like, yes, I'm the leader of this team.
No,
everyone drew that conclusion based off of what his teammates and coaches were saying. So if that's not leadership, then I don't know, like, what?
Other players would always, I've seen many interviews where other players would say, Pito has never been the rah-rah guy. He's the guy that if you're fucking up, he'll pull you aside in the hallway and be like, hey, man, you're fucking up. Like, that is leadership, absolute leadership. But, I mean, I don't see why people are so. It's Jose. They're gonna retire his number. He's a White Sox legend. The guy won an MVP fucking 3 years ago. Like, it was disheartening to see these so-called White Sox fans turn on him so bad for a comment where all he said was very obvious things.
Yeah, he said something we were all thinking. And, like, you look at all the stuff he went through with the White Sox. The whole Drake LaRoche saga and, like, selling him.
He was
the real clubhouse leader.
The Chris Sale stuff.
Yeah.
Go through all that. Robin Ventura almost quit during spring training the 1 year. Then he has to go through Yolmer Sanchez running around dumping liquids on everyone when they're winning 63 games a year. So he's dealing with that. Then he has to deal with the front office going like, I don't know if we really want to bring him back after producing 100 RBIs and 30 home run seasons all this time. And then Jerry has to step in. So, of course, he's going to feel a little disrespected. Then he has to bring in deal with the manager that was brought in that had, like, DUIs before he was hired, forgetting rules and scolding Yerman Mercedes, and then that absolute disaster of a clubhouse. So, like, yeah, I could see where he'd be like, I kind of want to go to greener pastures after putting up with 9 years of this shit and not saying anything. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I love it. No, I mean, I really don't have too much to add. Perfect. No notes. I mean, I think that's a great way to put it.
I think the best way I can describe from some of the negative reaction towards Jose Abreu from some White Sox fans is like hurt people.
Yes.
White Sox fans just been.
Ooh, that was deep, although.
Wow.
Fuck.
I mean, I've heard that many times before.
Put that on.
Yes, credit that to me and only me. They've just been through the ringer, especially like the past, whatever it was, 18 months, especially the 2022 season. And like what he said in terms of like being disrespected like by the team, like that just like completely reminded me of like some of the stuff like Wilson Contreras ever since he signed with the Cardinals. It's been like every single time, like, yeah, is it a little overboard? Maybe, but like it is a guy who has spent Abreu came over from Cuba, but like you spent your entire MLB career with one team. Mm-hmm. You've been through a lot. You've been successful. Contreras and Abreu at different stages. Hurt people. But it's like with Abreu, like the story came out. Like, yeah, the White Sox were kind of iffy on re-signing him. The only reason he was re-signed, it seems like, is because Reinsdorf stepped in. Like with Contreras, They made him the 1 or 2 contract offers back in like 2018. And then after that, it was nothing for 5 years. So like, yeah, these guys are going to feel disrespectful. I have no idea why
Like they're
fans would
human.
get
How would
mad
you
at that
feel?
part.
Yeah. Especially with the Brady, and like it equally goes with the Contreras. But like if you're performing well in your job, and then your boss brings in your replacement, and you're like, oh yeah, you got to mentor this guy, and then you have to have a positive attitude, and then all of a sudden you see the writing on the wall, like, oh yeah, we're basically going to replace him with you after you've done everything right for the organization. Of course, you're going to feel disrespected. And also with that article, like he was asked about it. It's not like he's coming out and just be like trashing the White Sox. And if you read the article too, it says like he had a pain look on his face and he didn't want to talk about it afterwards. So
this is what you're saying, Mitch. From the disrespect is the shitty ass roster they put around the dude for almost 9 years.
And he still said, I wanted to be a White Sox.
That was the other part. So he comes over, signs from Cuba to the White Sox. I mean, he got paid. So like, it's not like he wasn't playing for free, but he gets paid. There's expectations like, all right, I'm, big city, we should have some sort of expectations to win. Has to go through the rebuild. He's around. And like you said, Mitch, he's like trying to play every game, playing through injuries, like little stuff. And then he's like seeing other guys getting pulled from games, not like going on the injured list all the time. And he's like, I'm busting my ass over here.
Yep.
And I'm like struggling to get re-signed.
The cherry on top's got to be, you finally feel like this team is turning around and you can make a run. You had a disappointing exit in the playoffs, and then they hire a fucking 107-year-old manager, and you're just like, what the fuck, guys? Like, what? Come on. Like, what are you doing to me? And I know he said all the right things, public facing and all this other stuff, but they weren't a family. There was no connection in that dugout. Their manager was a walking corpse, and it was just, to all your point, yeah, that to me is the most disrespectful thing they could have did to the guy.
Yeah. And I love the White Sox fan base, but that was really disappointing to see. And then you see the people like, well, he never learned English either. It's like, well, newsflash, learning new language is hard. Like, I don't give a shit. I've been around 22 years and I haven't learned any Spanish.
And also,
out of here with that.
He knows English. He speaks English when he wants to. And when he's pissed off, he goes through the translator.
Do you know why guys who come from other countries don't, even if they have a good grasp, Darvish was in like MLB for close to a decade. He learned English, but imagine if you do learn a second language and you're in that country. You're playing sports. You're in a big media market. Sometimes we can even express ourselves in our own native tongue. Imagine doing it in a different language. Just say you like misword something.
Right. Oh no.
That becomes a big fucking thing.
Absolutely.
Like that's why guys don't do it.
Oh, I totally. If I was playing ball in Japan, I would go through a translator all day. I wouldn't even bother. I mean, I learned how to like order food and like say like Bush Light, and then I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, it's a knee-jerk reaction. That's how people are these days. Whatever. Those people that were saying all that shit, Mitch, when they build the statue of Abreu, they're going to be sitting in the fucking second row.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just kind of have to just blow it up. Whatever. It's fine.
You also have to give him a little bit of consideration because he was answering the questions that were asked.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly.
So you're getting a soundbite, but you're not really getting the context of the discussion. You're getting that one little clip that I'm sure people have been clipping off time and time again to show, oh, look at how disrespectful it is. And if someone, you got to give the guy credit for trying to answer a question. Like, for God's sakes, I mean, these reporters aren't stupid. They're asking probing questions. And they, of course, in a new team, they're going to want to get a gotcha moment because it makes them, again, it gives them the opportunity to compliment their new team and build them up. And, it does provide a little bit of a clickbait drama for the rest of them. Like, because now Chicago's, how many people clicked on that interview that quote just to,
yeah, it's like the Chuck Garfien thing all over again.
And actually, speaking with the Astros, since Jose Abreu is there, Fizz, I want to get your opinion on this. Did you see the clip of Bregman bouncing the ball on the double play to second base? I'm curious as a coach on your thoughts on that because there's a lot of people.
I didn't see this,
dude. Yeah,
he's like,
I was like, wait, is
this
a
like double
joke?
plays? He intentionally spiked it halfway so it'd be like easier.
So I just typed in Bregman in Twitter search, and the first thing that came up was Bregman bounce pass.
Yep.
Let's see. I want to see. I got to see this. I need to
hold on.
So he said.
I'm afraid to open any more windows.
He's been working on this bounce pass to second base because he says it's harder to deliver like a straightforward pass moving to his left.
So is it a long hop?
Well, here,
Yeah.
I'll just give me
Like,
I think Like,
Oh,
it's
long
like
hop.
Eric Hosmer doesn't play
I don't know.
second
Let's see.
base.
Let's see. Okay, see, here we go.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yep.
So he hits it to him at third. He catches it and just spikes it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Bro, I mean, unless there's a pebble there, I mean, we do these drills. These are drills. This is actually a drill. So
It's a perfect. I mean, the second
no, it's
baseman
perfect,
hits it
yeah.
perfectly.
I'll say this: it's weird as shit to people that have not done like a ton of like. This is a textbook turn drill for the second baseman specifically to get work on the feeds and the transition and the redirect on this feed. So it's not bad. That's not a long hop. I mean, if you got a pebble there, I don't feel like it's super safe, but I mean, it's not like he's playing on a high school field. That's immaculate. It's an immaculate baseball field. So the dirt should play pure. And if it's watered and right, but man, you get the wrong field with the bad maintenance.
So, okay, no, but I think that's the question, Kevin. Like long term,
Dude,
like
what
if
you
he just keeps
encourage-
doing this.
I don't feel like that's sustainable, but I mean, if it's
But
something,
like he said, he's been working on it.
he's gonna try. It's gonna be like a season-long thing.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
he's
because he feels
revolutionizing the
more
game.
comfortable doing this rather than just doing a normal throw going
perfect.
towards his left.
I'm
It's a
sorry.
perfect
It looks. I know it's a perfect feed. It's awesome, but it just.
No, it
dude,
just looks goofy.
it looks pretty
Yeah.
funny, dude.
There's people commenting like, if he can't make the throw to second, how can he make the play third base? It's like I don't think.
if you guys are going to be progressive about the pitch clock, maybe be progressive about how some of these guys turn double plays too with their feeds, right?
But I mean, if
he's
he
found the holy
kept,
grail of feeds.
and I get what you're saying about a pebble, and this is like the best baseball fields in the world, but like if he catches a lace weird with his fingers, that thing's spinning, and it's, you know what I mean? It's
I
but-
have no
but
problem
I'll say
with
this,
my
I'll say
teams
this,
not
though.
doing it, but
If you
for
get
other
if you
teams, try.
if you catch a bad lace on a feed, even if you're throwing it regular, that ball's going to do the same thing. The one thing you can't control is when it does hit the ground. I mean, you're really going to get that long hop, but I mean, it's weird. It's definitely weird.
let's call it what it is. Jake Berger does that shit. People are gonna say send his
Well,
ass.
you know
to
what?
fucking Winston
Nick
Salem.
Magical does that. I want to
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah.
Nick Magical does that.
Dude,
throw-
you can't make the throw to second. How do they expect him to make the throw
Yeah.
to first on a consistent thing?
Let's, you know what though? I'm not going to judge. Again, it's one of those. Don't judge it until you see how it plays out. If he fucks up and if it makes a crucial error, can that shit. But if he goes 100% all season, he might have turned over a new leaf. I've never even thought. I know that like from a second baseman's perspective, when you're going up the middle and you got Ryan Sandberg was the king of it, throwing that long hop on the backhand instead of stopping and throwing and trying to make it like a perfect throw to the first. You're instead doing the long hop like skipping stones, and I get that. But I guess. If he wants to do it and the Astros let him, let's see how it plays out. I guess over the season, he might have just revolutionized feats from third. I don't
It's
know.
almost the equivalent to me of like the granny shot in the basketball when you're shooting a free
Hey,
throw.
Rick
Like,
Barry.
it looks ridiculous.
Wow.
It's very easy to make fun of, but like, hey, maybe it works better.
My other
it goes
question
in, who
on that.
cares?
My other question on that, like if it's a double play thing, and I know on that play they turned it pretty easy. There's no way that bounce pass is faster
So
getting to second base than a regular
no,
throw.
and also follow up
It's also
question to
easier to
that.
redirect though, because
Let's say there's runners on first and second, and he gets a ground ball that moves him to his left, so the play is the double play. But like it's a hard hit ground ball, and that runner's running from second to third.
Is he only doing that when there's a guy on first, or is he doing that when there's a guy in that
Well,
play?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. Like
I need to research this. I'm intrigued. I guess I'll put it that way.
yeah,
I'm surprised. Let's see. There you go. Now you have something to break down next week.
Yeah,
we don't have a swing breakdown this week, but maybe we'll do a Bregman.
Do that breakdown live from France next week, Kevin.
Yeah,
like-
from the Eiffel Tower.
I'm gonna actually put it on paper for someone that's French to read it, and they're gonna read it in French, and then I'm like translate.
Yep.
But like,
show him the play. Show
Male
someone. Show him the play. And be like, thoughts on this?
so
They're gonna think it's cricket.
I mean, everyone. Some of the sites that are covering it are like slick bounce. I'm like, it's not slick. Like, I want to know what the purpose
It's a
is.
good play. Like the way that play played out.
No, I
like,
think the purpose is he said he feels more comfortable doing that than doing a normal throw going to his left.
which
That's
that
the
part's
tweet I saw.
wild to me too.
So
'cause
Rendon. So Anthony Rendon does that actually. Apparently he's mastered the art of the bounce pass. Apparently, that's what it says here.
good for him, man.
He saw Rendon do it in Anaheim, and he said easier to be accurate doing this than try to guide a softer throw to second. Now, actually, I do agree with that. I actually do agree with that. When you try to let up, say for example, you're 40 feet from second, it's hard to let up on a feed and not like uncork one. And sometimes guys when they try to let up, airmail things, or they throw a ball down at their ankles. So I guess if the idea is you're having a hard time letting up on your throw and on especially the velo, and you've figured out a way to kind of, I guess, transfix that feed. But I guess I get that part of it. I just it feels new. I mean, I'm watching. I'm looking at a highlight of Bregman doing, or Rendon doing it too. And
is this just Alex Bregman be like, yeah, my arm's too strong?
I mean,
Is he trying to fucking show off here?
I can say this as 100% example. If I have to throw batting practice to somebody and I have to let up, I'm probably going to dose more guys than I'm going to throw strikes. I don't do because sometimes we throw BP and they'll set the mound up or the pitching ramp up like 40 feet. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I can't do it. I got to go back. I got to go to 60 feet. I got to throw from 60. Sometimes I even need a target. I'm weird. But I can't let up. And some guys just can't let up on their throw, which is terrifying for a second baseman. And it's also, if you try and let up and you short hop somebody, that ball's not getting picked at second. You've got a better shot of giving them a little skip hop. And I mean, I guess it makes sense. Let's see how it plays out over the course of the season. How many times if he packs it up later in the season, we'll know it was a failure. But shit, I mean, it's not the at least the why makes sense to me. I would just think maybe just learn how to make that throw. But if you're that set in your ways, maybe not. It's cool. Why not? Let's go.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Baloney. Sorry, I have a rocket arm, and this is the only way. Like,
that's basically
the next excuse is when he bounces one like 100 feet in the air because he's got such a cannon.
Sorry, I'm strong as fuck.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying. Like, what a way to fucking flex on it. Like, yeah, guys, sorry, I'm too strong.
My bad.
Like, I can't let up on these 40-foot throws.
I mean, that is an issue. Letting up is hard.
Like we've all said though, is if it's working, no one's gonna give a shit. But the first one he bounces to right field,
and it's gonna be
and then it's gonna be a thing.
The crazy, we do that as a drill though. Like, so we do that as a drill. He's like basically just implementing a drill.
It still doesn't change.
Yeah. That's
you're not teaching that to do it in games.
No, that drill is for the second to get as proper a feed as possible. I mean, in a weird way, when we're just doing middle turns, I'll skip some too because I'm exhausted. I've thrown like 50 turns, and I'm like, okay, my arm's dead. I already threw BP. I can't do this, and I'll start skipping too a little bit. But that's not for him. It's usually for the second baseman just to work on that redirect from the glove. Because I mean, honestly, you're not catching the baseball on that turn from second. It's not like a catch, grab, go. You're just redirecting the ball using the leather to your bare hand. So it's really just a so it's just redirect to here to get that break. And the quicker the redirect, obviously the quicker the turn. And that's why they say someone has really soft hands. Some of these guys, the baseball is barely touching leather. It's just slowing it down enough that their bare hand is able to catch it without smashing their fingers and cause too much damage and make it numb before you make the throw. So let's see if Senior Sock says right. He probably ain't doing this. Let's see if he does it in the regular season. They'll probably tuck that shit away if he makes one mistake. He does it once and he throws one that bounces into left center somehow because it hits like a strange lip or a pebble or whatever. You put that back and go ahead and put it back in the drill. But
that's what base runners have to do if they ever do get to second base on that. I'm not sure when he's doing it or not, but like get second base, call time, just start fucking kicking dirt everywhere.
Hey, when you're running the third, kick as much dirt up as possible.
Or even like if they're playing the White Sox, Tim Anderson before.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the
first
dugout
series,
at the end of the inning, just fucking dig in and just leave some fucking
make a big fucking divot at short.
Draw your name and
we talked about it when we were talking about the pitch clock. Gamers are gonna find a way to game.
Oh, yeah. Max Scherzer too. Did you see that? Like right after we talked about it.
Yep, that's game. That is gaming.
Just leave a pile of sunflower seeds between.
Opening day, Tim Anderson. Well, that might come back to.
That's actually a good idea. It's like trying to like drop a little breadcrumbs everywhere.
Get rocked
like Tim Anderson too. He'd catch one in the chin trying to attack him.
Yeah, that would be like a thing. He would do that, and then it'd be like ninth inning. I'd hit a sunflower seed. It's in the left field. It's over.
David and not Spitz. God dang it!
Joe Moncada does his dance from his music video in the dirt before he goes into the dugout real quick and just.
That's why all the Cubans didn't want to play in the World Baseball Classic. Like, we have to hear disaster personnel one more fucking time.
Eloy is watching this shit going, can I do that from right field?
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's playing left.
Bounce it in.
I don't need to talk about that anymore. I don't want to talk about that anymore because I'm still nervous. A guy in Australia just took a ball to the thigh And I'm just
Right.
like, Jesus Christ, I don't like this. Anxiety's through the roof.
Who was it? Well, in the Cuba game, was it Scope who
Bet.
got drilled by like 97 on the elbow?
Yes.
He was wearing the pad,
I lose
Yes.
but he looked pissed.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be too.
Yeah,
Uh,
see? It's
I
all
mean, I'd be in the
the
hospital.
guy gets hurt.
but,
That's why I was
yeah.
saying I wasn't excited the White Sox win.
Oh, I'm still glad they're being able to have this, have fun, rep their country, do all this shit. But like the anxiety watching games, like this Korea and Australia game, this is just fun. I don't give a fuck what happens in this game. I didn't bet it. I don't have any skin in the game. No White Sox players are playing. I didn't give a shit.
I
But
just bet it.
What do you have more anxiety over, like Eloy in the outfield or
Eloy
like
in the outfield.
Lynn pitching?
Eloy in the outfield.
That was the beauty of the last time the World Baseball Classic happened because the White Sox in it. I was like rooting for him, but like, Nate Jones, I don't care if he gets hurt. It's like, hey, Nate Jones, White Sox.
Hey, look
Yeah,
what
he
happened to
gets
Nate
hurt. Our
Jones.
season's riding on it.
And
Now
what
it's like,
happened there?
well, what are we lying? No.
Yeah, Nate Jones, like 2 years later, career over.
Yeah, Nate Jones is short arming loaves of bread into a fucking
Yeah.
grocery bag at Jewel now.
Poor Nate Jones.
Poor Nate Jones. Sorry.
Nate
That
Jones.
was
Oh,
mean.
Not good elective? Oh, mother father.
Who'd you take, Fids?
Well, I was going to take Korea minus 2.5.
2.5. God damn.
Oh, I'm gonna go a little crazy. I think Korea's gonna. I think they're gonna go ahead and blow this one out. That
Yeah,
Australia team,
Australia's got runners on the corners.
oh, that's probably why they pulled the bet.
Yep.
I get it. Mm-hmm. Dude, come on! I just put money in my account because I
Yeah,
lost.
I mean,
Seton Hall cost me.
Mitch, you got anything else from the White Sox spring training?
We basically covered it with.
I think we got it with
Pull
Colas
off
and
the big
Alphas
one,
Andrews. Yep. On the Cubs side of things, how far away is Pete Crow Armstrong?
Well, first off, the Cubs have won 8 in a row in spring training right now.
I mean,
Cubs
that
are-
and $2.50 gets you a ride on the fucking bus. No
Means
one gives a-
absolutely
no one gives
nothing.
a fuck.
It's like I'm your best friend's
I
cousin's.
think the
former roommate.
Royals. I think the Royals are 12-2. Put $50 on them winning the division right now if spring training means anything.
Do it, Zeph. Do it, Zeph.
Do it.
No, I'm not doing it. Spring training.
No,
don't
you
mean shit.
do it.
No, I'm not doing it. But as a fan of baseball,
Pete Crow Armstrong.
how far out is Pete Crow Armstrong? Because I want to see this kid in Major League Baseball.
2024.
Yeah, it's probably
Really?
out.
He
It's,
might
it's
come
not
up.
happening this year.
No,
remember-
he's only 20. He barely got up to AA last year in the second half. He'll probably start at AA this year, work up to AAA. I mean, maybe like at the
He
end
might
of the
skip
season.
AAA. He might skip AAA too. They might keep him at AA and just jump him too.
Hey.
You remember, this is the guy. You guys, if you recall, Pete Crow Armstrong, his mom is the mother in Little Big League. If you've seen Little Big League,
I know we've
right.
said that every episode we've talked
I
about.
just want to remind everybody that he comes from baseball film royalty, and
But-
he is a chaos starter. He is. Now, look, the Cubs have one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball already with Cody Bellinger, and that play yesterday was on the run, in the gap, sun in his face, ball coming out of the core of the sun, leaving his feet, getting horizontal as his feet are touching the warning track, which is a whole nother world because you know that if you do this wrong, you're going to go head first into a wall that's going to win the battle, so to speak, and if you're not, unless you're Bump Bailey. And so the catch itself was one of the most, and I don't know if anybody can cue that up.
I'm getting it right now.
It's an absolute. It already is going to be one of the best catches you're going to see in baseball this year.
You know
And-
what's so crazy about that, Kevin?
I think you're overselling it a little bit.
No, but that's the thing.
I
It
haven't
was a
seen it
great
yet. Let's
catch.
see. Throw it up.
It was
was
a
a-
great catch.
It was a great catch.
I think he had like
also-
5 better ones in 2022.
God.
Right.
I lost.
Also, if I was a Cubs fan, I would have pooped a little bit because that kid's your future. But
No,
It's
no. He does this with
Okay.
ease.
I mean, look at
Like
where he
this.
started.
He is
from.
shaded over. He oh my god.
Ugh.
Amazing.
And then he gets up. Look at the throw. Look how quick he gets rid of the baseball too, with dirt in his hand. By the way, because he's gone through on the warning track, so there's dirt caked on that arm.
Look at where he started from. He started from over here.
Yeah, no, he is
And he makes the
on the
catch
play
over
before
here.
that, he was shaded towards left field.
Yeah, I
He was
mean,
so
this
quick.
dude.
Which, if you don't know what shade means you've opened up your body towards the gap in the first place.
Oof,
So he had
that
a first
is-
his drop
that
step
is
was
great.
quick. He did, wait, hold on. Freeze that. Has he got gum coming out of his mouth? Is he chewing his gum while he's getting that baseball into the
Adam
infield?
Eaton was blowing a bubble when he hit
Yeah.
a home run. So
Yeah,
I don't
hold
wanna
on.
hear
Look at
about
this.
chewing
Look at
gum
his,
and
look at his
making a
mouth. Here, wait till he
Let
before
it-
picks up. Go back a little bit more.
let it keep playing. They're gonna show the slow-mo replay or the
He's chewing gum. He's chewing gum. He's actually, so he's chewing bubble gum and walking at the same
There are
time.
like 8 other players in the field. They're all chewing gum.
Oh God, he needs some sunscreen though too. Him and Owen Casey are like the sunscreen twins. That dude has him
Or maybe not.
really light skin.
Go to my Twitter. Oh, here we go.
There you go. Boom.
I mean, my biggest thing is how much ground he covers.
Yes.
And that's a backhanded catch from a left-hander. So
Okay, so look at the play. So like,
here you go. Oh.
so like I know it looks like a dive, but it's more of a lunge.
Yep.
Look how quick he picks up.
And that's why it's so impressive because it's
didn't
the
even need to
amount
dive.
of ground.
Exactly.
But he's able
The
to turn
amount
the
of ground that he covers that he doesn't have to go into a full-on dive.
But that slows him down. Is able to get the baseball and come back, throw the ball into the infield, and get the guy punched out at second for the double play in the inning. Right?
And Robert Jr. probably gets hurt too, but still, that was awesome.
It's
I know Sox fans don't want to hear it, but Luis Robert was kind of not good in center field last year.
I mean, he was a Gold Glover the year before that, so I'm
But-
guessing we're gonna. It also hurt a majority of the season last year.
Bad, yeah. Well,
He was hurt.
whose fault is that? Luis Robert.
Dominoes.
Kevin, you got to start the Pete Crow Armstrong is the best center fielder in Chicago talk.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I still will say that. I mean, Bellinger's
Oh, that's right. Behind
Bellinger. He's a Gold fucking Glover. So
like that.
he was a Gold Glover last year. Was he not?
Kevin or Mitch.
So technically,
He was
it's
No,
kind of-
but I
I
mean,
feel like the Cubs' second baseman was the best shortstop in Chicago last year.
Pete Crow Armstrong. So he barely turned 20. I think in December. Barely got. Or actually, I don't even think he got to Double A. I'm not sure. That's why I'm still saying a year away because
Yeah, he's a year away.
he still needs more of that experience because he missed his first full year. I think he had an injury when he was with the Mets when he got traded before he got traded to the Cubs.
You know,
So-
you know what's really great about Pete Crow Armstrong too is that he
Don't,
speed stuff.
Senior Sox, don't even fucking indulge them.
By the way,
When they start this shit, don't even,
Hey.
don't encourage them. Don't
Hey.
feed into it. Don't. do
I am
anything.
still one of the biggest
Hold on,
Luis
hold on.
Robert fans on this show.
Yeah, I love Luis Robert too. But guess what high school Pete Crow Armstrong went to?
somewhere in
Oh.
Nevada, I'm sure.
What size underwear does he wear? Because that's about the last
Oh,
thing you've told
White
us yet.
Sox fans will know this high school. Harvard
Sierra
Westlake.
Canyon.
Harvard Westlake.
Oh, there you go.
Lucas Giolito, Cats.
California.
Okay.
And so he's from the same baseball factory. But last year he only
Jack
played.
Doherty went there.
He played A ball last year. He hit 354 with 7 homers, 27 RBIs, 13 stolen bases in 38 games at regular A. He was at high A. He was 287. He struck out 69 times. Nice.
Nice.
19 stolen bases, 34 RBI, 15 set doubles, 7 triple. He hit 10 triples last year. 16 homers,
He's pissed as
22
fuck.
doubles.
Yeah,
Pissed as fuck, boy.
That's a dude that just he creates havoc, and we saw earlier this week too. There was a ground ball to second. He hit the ground ball to second, right, and then the baseball he got a little league triple. And the little league triple, which is basically when it's an error all the way around. Bad throw at first. He would have been dead to rights if the throw was good, but instead the throw goes down, behind the first baseman, down back towards the catcher. He takes around, run scores. He takes third, but he's been stealing base. It's almost impossible to throw him out on the base paths when he's trying to steal second. He creates havoc, and that's the stuff that you like to see. His back's
It's
going to
like he can
continue
bring
to
him down
evolve.
fast.
It's true. He still has to learn the bounce pass, and he's going to eventually. He has to still figure out his maturity at the plate. But
Yeah.
you can see him on the base paths. That's the one thing a young player you're not going to lose, other than if you lose a step or two. But his baseball base running IQ is absolutely next level. It's not dumb stuff. He actually does stuff on the base pass. He's well coached. He was well coached at Harvard Westlake. I can tell you that right now. That coaching staff there is always top notch. So he's bringing that to him in a league where base running is kind of an anomaly at this point. He's coming in with that skill. Those guys always run the bases well at Harvard Westlake. They are a fundamentally sound high school program. I've played against them a ton over the last 15 years. Every time you play them, they're infield, outfield. I got in trouble, actually. One of the guys I coach with, he goes, "Why don't you suck their dick, Fiddler?" I'm like, this is the best infield, outfield I've ever seen. They just do it well there. They do everything uniform. It's great. And so I love seeing that. And you love to see a guy that creates havoc on the base pass because it puts so much pressure everywhere else. Because even if you take a second, you blink, you bobble, and the thought of bobbling even creates a bobble, and he takes an extra bag, and that's going to make a lot of difference when he's ready, but he's not there yet. He'll get there, but boy, is he exciting as long as he stays healthy. Whew. And all for a Javi Baez rental. I mean, Jed cooked it up there. Jed is the king of taking other people's prospects, and he's almost a god, not the god, but a god. And Senior Sox was the other coach. Correct.
Way to go, Senor.
Mm-hmm. Anything
Who do you
else?
want to trade for PCA, guys?
Well, our guy Kevin Alcantara. So let's talk about prospects again.
Oh, there's so many.
Hey, it looks
That
good.
dude. I mean, that guy's like
Days, right,
6'6".
Looking back at all
He's-
the prospects.
Yeah, I
He's
remember when all we
fast.
talked about was prospects.
He's fast. Well, I mean, it's funny. During this time, the Cubs still have more playoff wins since you guys started to rebuild and came back than the Cubs did.
Yeah, well, we don't need to talk.
So I don't know if we want to get into that.
That's in the past. We're talking about the
I don't
present.
know. I don't know if we want to.
Wait a little bit. One more year, Aldo. One more year. Let's just tuck it back.
No. Since
talking
the White
about the
Sox,
present.
we're back.
We're talking
The
about
Cubs
the
and the
present.
White Sox have.
Yeah, but you had a cool hip manager. we
He
did.
had a manager that didn't have a hip.
Our guy, yeah, he needed glasses because he actually needed them, not just for the fashion statement. We didn't have any theme days.
It's reading glasses.
If you guys could do it over, would you guys take Joe Madden after he left the Cubs?
Ooh.
Yes.
Over
Over
Tony
the
La Russa.
Over
alternative?
La Russa,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right now, I would take anything with a pulse.
Joe Madden's great for like the first like 2-3 years or so, and then his shtick
Yeah.
kind of gets like old in the dugout. But like for a
The-
couple of years, like he's
The
fine.
guys buy in. The guys buy in, and then the message kind of wears off. But
You can only do
guys
so
buy
many
in.
petting zoos. You can't. You do one petting zoo a year, maybe one magician. Sooner or later, someone realizes that's not really your thumb.
I mean, actually, with the Sox luck, like a little baby lion would have like bitten off Eloy's finger or something.
Yeah, Eli
so-
would go to pet it, like, hi, mom. Oh, fuck.
Hey, Luis, check out this panther. Ah, shit.
Trips over a giraffe. I don't know why there's a giraffe on the field, but it trips over.
Fucking rhino like gores him. You're like, God dang it, Eloy.
But yeah, no.
Eli
Kevin
falls
Alcantara.
over. Okay.
Kevin
he actually gets
Alcantara.
sawed in half. He gets sawed in half actually by the magician.
I mean, this is all shit that you guys are all laughing, but this is all shit that would
I mean, it would
to the
happen.
White
No,
Sox.
the
Yeah.
Eloy getting his finger bitten off by like a baby lion cub, that would happen.
Yes. I mean,
Because do you know why? Because Jerry Reinsworth would cheap out, and he would hire like Joe Exotics from zoo or
Exactly.
something. Like that's why. That's why you'd
We
have
got
just
a
these
discount line
untrained
payment to
animals.
come after you.
This lion here hasn't eaten in weeks. Why? Because we haven't paid them.
that's you guys are all laughing like it's a big joke, but that's all shit that would really happen to this White Sox team.
Kevin Alcantara probably 2025, maybe
Cody
middle
Bellinger.
2024. Huh?
Yeah. And Cody Bellinger today hit his first home run as a Cub, which was a bomber, but you don't miss where that ball was missed. I mean,
Yeah.
Cody
Well,
Bellinger,
that's the good sign is that he didn't miss it.
right? And the thing with Cody Bellinger, he's not going to miss those. His issue is under the hands. And that's the thing we talked about when we were breaking down his swing. I think last week is that if he needs to open up a little bit. And I haven't really broken down today's jack, but I mean, it's really hard to because that ball was like literally put on a tee for him. And it was some Canadian guy that's probably going home going sorry. Some
Probably the
poutine
nicest guy.
Yeah, probably 100% said congratulations while he was rounding the bases.
Where's it, buddy?
That's a good swing there.
Whoa, that's a nice one there, bro.
You really
Well
got me on that one.
We'll see you next time, eh? But then you've got. I mean, again, the Cubs are winning. I guess you'll say, but like you said, it's spring training. It means absolutely nothing. But it is at least for Cub fans for a second. Like if we're the spring training champions when we get back to our 74 win season, at least we'll have spring training. We can. It's like Forget Paris. That movie with Billy Crystal. Forget Paris. Forget spring training because it's
the most impressive part for me during spring training is the pitching prospects that have again the result. It's not so much the result like cool they won. I don't care. Some of these guys look absolutely filthy.
Wisniewski looks.
Hayden
That kid
Wisniewski
looks good. I saw his
great.
highlights. He looks really good.
There's this guy who I to be honest, I didn't know a lot about him heading into spring training. He used to be a starter. He went on the developmental list for like a week or two in July. They just fully transitioned him to be a reliever. He is the son of a former MLB pitcher, Scott Sanders. Cam Sanders is just breaking off sliders like on the corner, making guys like buckle. He throws 98. That guy has future like setup closer stuff. Who else?
Killian.
Nick Birdie, who I
Oh,
think
yeah.
is the brother of Zach Birdie. Zach Birdie, right? Nick Birdie, with the Pirates, the Cubs picked him up in the minor league part of the Rule 5 draft. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. That dude, I mean, he's always thrown like this when
I was
he's
about
healthy.
to say he was a stud with the Pirates before
Yeah.
that, like arm failure. Which is
Yeah.
like,
I got
scary when it
breaking
happened, but
news.
He's good.
Is it the Sean Kemp thing?
No, that's gonna get addressed. That's gonna get addressed later. But remember how Cardinals fans wouldn't trade
Dylan Carlson?
what's his face for Mike Trout?
Oh, he's with the Yankees now.
Molina.
Harrison Bader.
No,
Harrison
Molina. They said
Oh,
would never-
Yachty?
they wouldn't trade Molina. So according to one of the best accounts on Twitter, baseball's best fans, the new thing Cardinals fans are saying they would not trade Tommy Edman for Ohtani.
Oh, bro.
Oh God.
And he put up a screenshot. This is fucking killing
So-
me.
Cup fans, if you want to buy a Wes Nasty shirt, Wes Nasty. If you're a fan of the Nasty Boys from the WWE, same
And
font.
WCW. And
And-
ECW.
And there's your Colas shirt. So if you want a
And,
Colas
and
shirt,
TNA.
Yeah.
This guy, the model dude, definitely looks like he's ripping ass in that picture.
Yeah, put him back up. Oh, yeah, that guy's like,
And
whoops.
he's cutting one quietly in like an office setting right now.
He'll fit right in section 1.
Yeah.
wait,
Yes.
what? Oh,
Notice no one wants to wear
Damn.
it.
Come on,
Yeah.
Fids. You're fucking up my shit, Fids. These are all some prizes for the fucking NASCAR minute. Stop.
Ah.
oh, God dang it!
I'm pulling privileges.
Shit. Well, you got to tell me, at least give me a heads up that.
I did last week. I told you we're going to start loading new pictures for NASCAR minute.
Oh yeah,
Did
that's
you
why
get
Nick-
one
Nick
image sent to you, by
Birdie.
the way, for the start of NASCAR minute?
we were told that we have too much. We have too many pictures.
I know I deleted some and added some.
Should we
new
delete
ones.
the Jay Cutler picture?
Yes.
I don't know if the Bears thing is still going, so I don't want to touch their shit.
Gotta get, I mean, we don't need Kyle Orton. For
But
God's
yeah,
sake.
Nick Birdie's like throwing 101 miles per hour and throwing like 90-mile-per-hour sliders. So-
Fun fact: I beat Nick Birdie's dad in a fantasy baseball or football league one year.
Whoa,
That is a
whoa,
fun fact.
whoa!
Whoa,
You gotta
whoa.
connect
Friends
to
to
some
Birdie.
ML beers.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah. So he's good friends with
Okay.
the Birdies, and they were in the same fantasy football league as me.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Aren't we doing a live draft in 2 weeks? We're doing a live draft in 2 weeks, are we not?
The league's full. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's because it's the week before the season.
Well, who would you take first, Tommy
Gordon
Edman
Beckham,
or
of
Shohei Ohtani?
Oh, Tommy Edman, of course,
Gordon Beckham.
or Gordon Beckham.
Or Gordon Beck?
All right, we're at an hour and 36 minutes. I think it's time. Fitz is already using my damn pictures
I'm sorry.
for the NASCAR minute.
Samson.
We're good.
Before you get started, we have a special request from one of our guys, and I always
It's a funny photo, though. It actually is funny. We've talked about Tony Stewart on this show, so this is a good one.
there's store and future retired Syracuse coach Jim Boehm.
If you know the joke, like
Oh, Jim Boeheim.
very funny photo.
Oh.
Both of them have something in common. And
Yeah.
Oh.
It's murder. I went to a Ja Rule concert. A song stuck in my head. Go ahead, Mitch.
all right. There's a lot to break down. The race was in Vegas. Fids' stomping grounds. Before the race, though. So, as we all know, I'm a huge Chase Elliott fan. And he put another example of why I can't stand him is the boringest guy in NASCAR. So he was going snowboarding and he broke his leg snowboarding. So all of a sudden his team Hendrick was like, oh crap, we got to replace a driver like really quick. So like everyone's pissed because he let the sponsors down and everything. But this is why I don't like Chase Elliott. He like flies planes. Like it's supposed to be like pretty cool, right? And
I just saw the Kemp one.
he's so lame. Like he flies planes, he snowboards, so you would think this is a cool guy. He's like, oh yeah, I'm out there flying planes, I snowboard, yeah, it's whatever. Like he should be a cool guy, and he's just lame. And that's why I can't stand him. He's boring. But on to the race itself. So Joey Logano, he had the pole. It was celebrating Festivus pretty much.
Pole.
Festivus came early. He had the pole. But much like Festivus, he was airing his grievances within the first 3 laps. His car stunk, so he's falling back in the field. One of the Hendrick cars, the 24 Raptor, driven by William Byron, he shoots out to the lead. He has the lead for the first stage. He has the lead for the second stage. So now Chase Elliott fans are also pissed because all the Hendrick cars are up front. He would have been one of them had he not have broken his leg snowboarding irresponsibly. So later in the second stage, William Byron still up front. It's kind of tough to pass in this race because there's two options to go. You can either go on the inside of the track or like the cars on the outside. If you get to like the rear quarter panel, they're tended to be passing them. So it's like double edge, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So the first big action happens midway through stage 2. We got cars going 3 wide here. So at the top of it, we got Joey Logano, right? Now in the middle is Brad Keselowski, and at the bottom is Kyle Busch. So they're coming into the turn, and neither one of them wants to lift. Kyle Busch is like, I'm a douche, I'm not giving any space. Absolutely not. Joey Logano's like, hey, buddy, I have no problem trading paint, so he's not going to lift. And then Brad Keselowski, he's just a Midwestern guy in the middle of 3 wide, so he doesn't know any better. He's like, hey, hammer down. So none of them lift. Logano runs out of room. He hits the wall, goes flying into the infield. Car gets airborne at one point. His race is over, so they have a caution. Now we get to the third stage, and as we're talking about, the Hendrick cars are fast, but Chase isn't one of them because he broke his leg and they have some scrub driving his car. So a new Hendrick car off of pit strategy, Kyle Larson, who got in trouble a couple years ago for saying the N-word, but we won't talk about that. They actually gained in popularity in NASCAR, which is kind of a problem. But anyway, he takes the lead, so he's in front. And as we said, it's kind of hard to pass. Hendrick cars are dominant here. So Larson's driving away with this thing out front. And there's like 4 laps to go. Everyone's like, wow, race is over. And then what do you know? With like 4 laps left, a caution comes out. Eric Almirola in his bacon car. He's driving in the back. And there's the slow guy, Cody Ware, who's getting lapped for like the 4th time. And Cody Ware, you know, he's oblivious. He's like, oh, he's just like running his line. And Eric Almirola is like, why isn't he moving out of the way? So Almirola hits the wall because Cody Ware, who's getting lapped, is in the way. Caution comes out. And now all of a sudden the game changes because with 2 laps left, we're in an overtime. So it's a green-white checker. So there's some decisions to make. Do we go pit for fresh tires or do we try and jump out for the lead? Everyone goes to pit for fresh tires except for Martin Truex Jr. Truex is like, hey, I'm shooting up front. He's banking on the fact other cars are not going to pit and come up with them, and so there's going to be a bunch of guys with bad tires bogging everyone down, and he can hold them off. But he gets hung out to dry because everyone went to pit, so he's like looking behind him. It's all these cars with fresh tires, so he's like, oh, well, I'm fucked because he doesn't have good tires. So right behind him, William Byron. William Byron has the good tires. He passes Martin Truex Jr. and ends up winning the race. And that is, that's what happened in Vegas. William Byron with the win for Hendrick in the 24 Chevrolet Raptor.
Fantastic NASCAR minute, bud. Mitch, you are a professional, bud. Because if you can keep that straight face and deliver that NASCAR minute with that bullshit going on the screen, God bless you, bud.
It was tough. Ian asked to answer your question. Yes, it was. He got caught during an iRacing event. Yeah.
I mean, for the people that aren't into NASCAR, it's worth turning into this segment just to see what kind of bullshit pictures me and Fitz put up on the screen. But we had some good ones tonight. Poor Sean Kemp.
Can you restart, Mitch?
No. I gotta keep that level of concentration.
Oh, buddy. But
yeah. So what did Sean Kemp do?
Drive by, son.
What?
Yeah, that's why.
Besides gaining a ton of weight after he retired.
Yeah, that's why I put this picture in there.
Oh. Harsh.
Yeah, dude, he just got arrested. He was part of a drive-by.
Was it like not the drive-through? Because I've seen him lately. I mean,
no, he definitely ain't a stranger to those. No, a drive-by. And shout out Baloney, I know you're watching. The Chicago Sports Bum Twitter account put up the video from Cletus from The Simpsons calling his like 100 kids out, going, "Hey, Delilah, David," and he tweeted Sean Kemp's kids visiting him in prison. When we were talking about something, and I had a whole bag of laughter because that's an A+ tweet right there. Oh my God, people are fucking stupid.
oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, hold on. That's great.
You guys got anything else? Jesus, we're idiots.
Like, who's in the backseat of that? John Morant? Like,
we'll talk about it more on Twitter. But we are officially part of the playback crew.
bang, bang.
So we're going to be picking games. We're going to try very hard to pick games that our friends over at Sock Machine are not doing, so we can share the wealth there a little bit. But we're going to have different guests on throughout the show. And if you have someone that you want to see us watch the show with, We're always open to suggestions. I think next week we're gonna have Nick on from the Daily White Sox Show. Oh Jesus, dude, Sean Kemp was the fucking truth in the '90s, though. I could watch Sean Kemp highlights.
It was
all
the first
fucking
like
day.
high school to the NBA guy. Like,
He was fucking nasty, dude.
Mhm.
He wouldn't. I mean, he would just dunk people into the grave. Like it was unbelievable. But anyways, we got Nick on next week because Fitz is gonna be in Gay Petty.
Wee wee.
This will be nice. We get 3 White Sox.
Oh, you're so fucked, Aldo.
It's gonna be a great show.
Aldo, you need to come up with your best trade scenarios.
That's all he's gonna do the whole show.
I'm a longtime White Sox supporter.
He is. He is.
Aldo's I'm gonna be
And
gone.
Bear
I'm gonna
fan.
come back, and Aldo's gonna be a White Sox fan. He's gonna all of a sudden change allegiances.
No, he's the whole episode next week. He's gonna be like, trade me Luis Robert for Nick Madrigal.
I mean, Luis Robert's stock is down. I saw White Sox Twitter reacting.
It all went downhill after the boxing video.
Yep.
That's where people started to lose faith. Then you chase a couple sliders, and all of a sudden everyone's bailing out.
Yep.
You sit down in the dugout while swinging, and everyone changes, and they turn on you.
Had he have not posted that boxing video, that performance from last night, everyone would be like,
Oh,
"Hey,
wait,
you know,
what
he's
was the
shaking off
boxing
rust."
video? I missed the boxing video.
I blame the boxing.
You should have traded him for Suarez while we had the chance. Damn it, these folks.
So trained with Adonis Creed, not Damian. God
Oh,
dang it.
that's the other NASCAR news. They got an F1 driver for Trackhouse again. Kimi Räikkönen's back.
Hard-
in the
hard-
No, Mitch,
Talk
we have to
about Barry
restart. We have to restart.
The hell?
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
yeah.
dude.
So
Barry
the-
Lee,
the
news bag, bro,
champion,
news
the
bag.
former world champion of Formula One. He's driving a NASCAR in Coda.
Every time you put "it was the horns" in the chat, Senior Sox, I just think of George Costanza with his little dick going, "It was cold in the pool. It
was
was
drinking
cold in the
shit.
pool."
I was in the pool. I was in the pool.
We should try to get like a sketch of Luis Robert that his third strikeout at the end, and then just underneath it put like "it was the horns."
Yeah, I just. But
Pink
yes,
glove
I don't
slapping.
know. Like most things in here, this is the reason why you should turn into our playbacks because it's probably going to be shit like this. But
No,
Uh,
I'll be providing Big J journalism.
we're going to.
You're
we're
trying
gonna
to
figure- we had the meeting with them today. It went really well. Everything's good. I think we're going to do a test run here soon to make sure that we know, or at least can pretend like we know what
How
we're
to
doing.
talk.
And then we'll be tweeting out the links. You know, as like with anything, you guys in the chat right now, and you guys still listening at the fucking hour 46 mark. You're amazing. We feel the love. We know you're there. And if you guys could follow us over there,
Oh
we'd
man,
really
look at
appreciate it too.
Mitch. Look.
Damn,
What?
Mitch. Missouri's changed, man.
Oh,
He drinking straight moonshine and shit. Hell yeah. He gonna go
No
slap
chaser
a cow
needed.
after this shit.
And-
Hell
and
yeah.
In Mitch's defense, there's really nothing else to do in Missouri. So
This is true.
Yep, he's
I
going
was
cow tipping
excited
after
because
this
like there
shit.
was finally my school Bradley was in the Missouri Valley Championship, and
Go
that's a quick
Braves.
drive away in St. Louis. So I'm like, oh, I have an excuse to like leave the house now. And they got their asses whipped by Drake. So you know, I'm still miserable in St. Louis. That's all I'm
got
doing.
your asses whipped by a
Yeah,
bunch
it was
of
embarrassing.
god dang nerds. Oh, Bradley. My ex-girlfriend in high school, Beth Jett. Sorry, I just called her out. She used to wear a Buck Fradley shirt. Sweatshirt.
Typical Illinois State spelling. That
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, well,
Folks.
Public people educate.
That's
Mhm.
Mitch. That's Fitz.
call.
He's Aldo. I'm Zoe. We will see you guys next week.
subscribe.
Subscribe.